Diggin' It with Richey is brought to you by Range Fit, the hydration your body deserves. White Sands Beach Volleyball Complex and Seeger Sandbar. H-Worth Elevator Service, serving Louisiana and Mississippi. K. Miller Gem and Jewelry, specializing in loose gemstone and fine custom-made jewelry. And by Allstate agent Greg Bravata.
Hi again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Diggin' It with Richey. So glad you're with us. We've got a ton to get to, as usual. High school, college, beach, we've got you covered in all three areas. But as usual, we start with high school volleyball. And that, of course, is brought to you by Allstate agent Greg Bravata. For your auto, home, life, and retirement insurance, check out Greg Bravata. And how about Range Fit? It's the hydration that your body deserves. This week, one of the best tournaments in the state took place at St. Joseph's Academy. You know it as the Red Hot Sticker Challenge. That's right. Some of the top teams from across the state go mano a mano in some outstanding midseason volleyball. VSN was there and has some of the action from this past weekend.
We pick up action Saturday, Mount Carmel facing E.D. White. And it's the Cardinals in control late first set. It's Catherine Harrison tipping it over the block, and it's set point, E.D. White leading 24-18. After the Mount Carmel shot goes long, that's it. Cardinals take set one, 25-18. Set two, full of action, starting with All-State middle Emery Ferret. First, the big swing for the kill, then watch her stretch those long arms for the big-time block. All smiles, and why not? Everything going right early. Like this. Carson Bro with the nice back set, and look at Kylie Johnson. Such a dangerous player, now swinging it from the outside for the kill. Even more weapons for the Cardinals. This time off the bump set, it's Elise Toops with another kill. But you know this Mount Carmel team is full of fire, starting from the top with head coach Taylor Reshoot. Sarah Clement with the sweet set, and Annabelle LeBure hits it like she's angry. Watch out, here come the Cubs. Sophomore libero Allie Offner. Watch the precision on the serve. Hey, slow it down. Yep, that's on the line. And an ace for Offner. Mount Carmel's middles playing so well this season. Here it's Gabby Locasio hammer time. Back to the sophomore setter for the aggressive lefty attack on two. This young lady continues to get better. Hey, it's time to check in with MCA's big outside hitter, Lila Franovich. Oh, there she is. And what's that? One more time for good measure? Yeah, team high 16 kills in this match. You know they say defense wins championships. Well, watch out for the Cubs. Kylie Smith with the outstanding up from the sophomore keeps the play alive, and Allie Steele there for the block on the right side to finish it off. Well done. It was tight late in set two. It's LeBure, big swing. How bad did Mount Carmel need that last year? They're up 23-21. But E.D. White hanging tough. Watch this play from Ferret going off the block, then taking it to the back corner, and just like that, it's a 24-23 game. Mount Carmel with set point. And yes, it's Branovich going boom time with the line shot. Mount Carmel evens the matchup, taking set two, 25-23. Hey, I'm telling you, this Mount Carmel team, it's fun to watch. Playing loose. Locasio with the big block, and Mia Lopez leads the charge for the celebration. Love it. Volley Cubs up 11-7. The MCA block party continues. That's the setter all alone on the right side. No problem for Clement. She records the solo block. Ferret continues to make big plays for the Cardinals. Big swing here, cuts the Mount Carmel lead to 13-11. But this match belonged to Mount Carmel. LeBure, one of her 9 kills. Cubs take set 3, 15-11, and with it, the match. Let's check in now with St. Thomas More and Parkview Baptist. Tough tournaments for both teams, but both are loaded with talent and plenty of highlights, like this kill from Marvel Posha. Watch the adjustment Parkview's Yana Times makes on this play. The returning All-Stater squares up the shoulders and makes that beautiful shot. That was so nice. Ready for your weekly Eleanor Gidry highlight? I know you are. Well, here it is. Eagle setter Aiden Polk tries to dump, but not only is the All-State libero there for St. Thomas More to defend it, she turns it into a Cougars point, bumping it to the vacant back corner. All she can do is smile. Tough to be that good, Eleanor. Guidry may be the best libero in the state. Yana Times may be the most dynamic hitter in the state. A few kills from Times here. This SSA fan missed this one. You're lost, buddy. That was a nice hit. If you haven't heard, St. Thomas More has a big-hitting sophomore outside. Her name is Morgan Dunn, and man, can she swing it. Back-to-back kills and things in set one. St. Thomas More rolling 25-14. Set two, Parkview Baptist came out on fire. Polk with the big-time setter block to get things heated up. Shortly afterwards, she's at it again, this time in the attack mode, and throws it down on two. Marin Price, another big weapon for this team. She sticks with it and gets the point here. STM had already suffered their first two losses of the season in this tournament, and players like Marissa Bilodeau sure to make sure it wouldn't be three. After the big lefty swing from the right side, setter Audrey Wheeler throws a surprise party with the setter dump, and the Cougars were starting to pull away again. Before this one was over, Polk delivered another big-time block on the right side. Match point now, and it's St. Thomas More dropping the mic, or in this case, the ace. 25-19 as STM leaves this tournament back on track. Our final match, and it's Mount Carmel, again, this time facing Vanderbilt, and first-year head coach Lila Bordes. Mount Carmel, as we've shown you, has a Lila of their own, and Franovich had not cooled off from the Edie White match. 11 more kills from Lila Franovich in this one. MCA in control, off the block here for the kill, and the Volley Cubs win set one, 25-13. You know, Vanderbilt has a real good hitter in senior Morgan Shakesnider. She had a couple of big kills in this one. For Mount Carmel, set two meant more new faces. Cassie Diaz took full advantage of her playing time. 6 kills in this one, including the last two of the match. Mount Carmel rolls in set two, 25-11, and closes out the week 7-0 by going a highly impressive 5-0 at the Red Hot Sticker.
Yeah, we just knew it was going to be rough and a fight, and we really have been showing growth in our game and our volleyball IQ, and I think really that's what we've been working on, is just growing IQ.
How about handing St. Thomas More its first loss of the year?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously our goal. It felt really nice that the girls really wanted to end a perfect season.
Where do you see this team as you lead this tournament? How do you feel about Mount Carmel?
I just feel they have really good chemistry and a lot of love for each other and the game, and they're just a fun group to watch mesh together.
The host of this tournament, of course, is St. Joe's, with first-year head coach Donna Pixley, who VSN caught up with in between matches.
It's a great tournament, tough competition. Every match is close when it goes to 2 sets or whether it's in 3 sets. It's awesome to host a Mississippi team and have them come. Usually there's a couple in here. Jackson Academy didn't come this year, but it's been great.
Where is St. Joe's at right now in your mind, where you want them to be?
So, I thought we had a really good tournament at Dutchtown, and we went on a 7-game slide losing streak against some super tough competition on the road and at home and here. We dropped our first 2 yesterday, but I think, we're finally finding a lineup I think may work for us, and the kids are playing well together, and so I'm happy with the way we're trending. Hopefully we can continue that direction.
So the 3 big winners of this Red Hot Sticker Classic turns out to be Mount Carmel 5-0, Dominican also 5-0. Both teams beat St. Thomas More. And look at North Shore, 4-1 with wins over 3 Power 25s, Edie White, St. Joe's, and Turling's Catholic.
That was this past weekend. What about tonight? Look at Super Tuesday on VSN. Are you kidding me with these matchups? We have some of the top teams in the state on VSN, starting with number 1 Dominican at number 5 Hannan, St. Thomas More, the now number 4 team in the state. They're at VSN affiliate Cecilia. It's 8 hosting number 9 as Slidell brings in Country Day. And then we also have a top 15 matchup with Edie White at Newman. And one of the coaches from this Super Tuesday is our next guest. Pleased and honored to be joined by 14th year Hannan head coach Rebekka Bonnaffee, who this will be a monster game tonight, coach, coming out of Super Tuesday. Dominican, the #1 team in this week's Power 25 poll, but it's the first one Hannan will be doing on VSN. We're so thrilled to partner with you guys. More Hannan matches coming up and the tournament coming up, the Hannan Fall Classic, but tonight's the first one. So happy to have Hannan on VSN.
Yeah, we're happy to have you too. We've been waiting for a while to get you to come, and we're happy to have you here.
That's great. Let's talk about your season first of all. And I know you guys, as always, you just schedule great opponents, and you did it again this year. You're going to play Dominican here in just a little bit later today. But tell us about the season so far for Hannan and how you feel your team has developed through what is like a 14-4, 13-5 overall record going into tonight.
Yeah. Well, while we have some experienced seniors playing for us, we also have a few younger girls playing for us who have stepped up for us. So it's been a little bit of a roller coaster. We talk about it. We try to start strong, but we're getting there. And I feel like every match we're getting a little bit better. And that's what you want when you're going, in the beginning of the season and working your way hopefully toward a playoff berth. So
we're looking at some video right now, Coach, of you guys taking on John Curtis, and that was, of course, in the Hall of Fame match in Thibodaux just on the eve of the season. But there you see, Bevelo getting the slide pass there from Pathenthong, Lowe doing her thing on the outside as well. I mean, Lewis, it goes on and on. Talk about some of the players this year on this team, Coach, and how they've gelled these leaders that we're seeing in the highlights.
Yeah, the three you just mentioned are seniors this year. Bailey is a phenomenal leader and competitor. She is smart. She can see the court pretty well, and she's just a competitor. She wants to win, and she leads these girls and takes them where they need to go a lot. Avery Lewis is my libero. She is phenomenal. She has grown so much in the past couple of years, and I'm super proud of the way she's been playing too. She's another great competitor who just has that drive to win and passes it on to the people who are playing next to her. And then Goldie Lowe and Lola Soper are my outside seniors. They didn't get to start last year, but they contributed, and this year they're getting to contribute a ton. And when we're all on, we're tough. So I am super proud of them.
I think it was about 2 years ago when you came to Mount Carmel. So it was Sophie's senior year, and she got hurt in that match. If you remember, she had to rush off, and David Mocklin took her back in the trainer's room, and she was out for a little bit. And during that time when she was out, Emma, my daughter, Emma Richey, was the setter, had two incredible dumps that were just like inches away from the floor. And this little girl that I never heard of, this Josie Pathenthong, came and pancaked both of them and kept the rally alive. But Pathenthong has developed into such an attack type setter where her some of those shots we just showed, just beautiful hands, but also she can attack, and she's lefty. I mean, all those things are exciting. If you can, just talk about your setter a little bit.
Well, not only is she smart, but she's super, super athletic. I am so proud of the way that she's been playing defense and just kind of spreading the ball out to all of our hitters and making sure that it's not just one person that's scoring. It's like I said, she's spreading it out and playing tough defense. She, even though she's not the tallest, she gets some blocks for us. And she is just a huge asset to the team, even at a junior. And she was last year too, as a sophomore. So again, just super athletic, and we wouldn't be the same without her for sure.
It's true. She's so fun to watch. And, we've been covering Hannan for a while, either directly or indirectly. Back when we did the pursuit, when we followed Mount Carmel during Ellie Holtzman, who won the National Gatorade Player of the Year her senior year. I remember that was my first real introduction to high school volleyball in Louisiana, the big Morris girl. And then you had Allie Morris before her, and that was her sister. It always seems like there's a lot of tall middles at Hannan, and you got 2 more this year, right? We know about Bailey Bevelow, but there's another one, and they've both been fantastic in the middle for you.
Yeah, Aubrey Etheridge is a freshman. I always say she has legs up to my shoulders, super tall. And like I said before, the more we play, the more aggressive she gets, the better she gets, the harder she hits, the more experience she gets, the smarter she gets. But yeah, she super hard worker and just wants to be a contributor out there and works hard. Very coachable, just works so hard and is smart, can place the ball and knows when to tip and when to power tip and when to swing. So super proud of the progress that she's made since the summer. And she's going to be somebody to look out for in the next few years for sure.
No doubt. And Bailey's doing a great job of mentoring her. I've seen
Amazing.
it. I've seen it on the court. So I don't know if you looked at it. We released it on Monday. The Power 25 this week was the closest votes at the top that we've ever had. And you're coming off a week where the number 1 team, St. Thomas More, lost twice. The number 2 team, St. Michael, they went 2-0. And then 3 and 4, you had Mount Carmel and Dominican with unbelievable 7-0 weeks. Multiple Power 25 wins at the Red Hot Sticker Classic at St. Joe's, and there's Hannan in at 5th, right where you were last week. Right. Tell me about the top, how top heavy it seems like it is this year, and give us your perspective. And I know you battled St. Michael already this year, and this team is no joke.
Oh, no. St. Michael's is not a joke this year. Tasha is doing a great job over there. They have athletes. They compete hard. We played them a couple of times and just came up short a couple of times. I wish we would have given them a better game, but my girls know that was not our finest moment. But yeah, St. Michael's is tough. Obviously, Dominican's tough. We're going to play all these teams in our tournament, so that it'll be a good one. And there, like I said, there's no easy game. There's no easy games for us. We walk into every match knowing that we're going to get that team's best, and hopefully we're prepared for it and show up.
Well, there's a reason why you've won 4 state titles at Hannan and 1 at St. Louis Catholic, and you know what you're doing, Coach. I love your style. Let's talk about your daughter. I brought her up just a little bit ago to get to my Josie Pathamthong story, but Sophie is doing so well, right? Just a fantastic high school player, won a couple of state championships with you, and I know that was such a special ride you had with her there. The last time I saw you in person with your husband was at the PMAC, getting ready to watch LSU and your daughter do battle against Southeastern. Talk about Sophie a little bit and what it's like, and just the bursting with pride when you go to an LSU game and see, hey, that's my daughter playing out there.
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling to see her in that uniform. And she has been loving it. It's been work. It's been a journey, but she's working hard. I'm so proud of her. When she gets in, she does her job. She gets some serves in, and so far right now, that's what she's been tasked to do, and she does it. She is definitely a competitor. She also wants to contribute, so she's working as hard as she can to do what she can for her team, and it does your heart some good to see your daughter out there playing.
Yeah, and kudos to her, because think about it. There's only like 4 Louisiana products on that roster, right? AC Kralik, and you got Cassidy, the libero from Parkview Baptist, and of course Nia Washington from Country Day. But man, it's so fun and just continued success. So I guess on the back end here, Coach, if you can set us up with the Dominican match. You and Jessica Chatelier have lived similar lives with your daughters both being players of the year in your respective divisions, winning multiple state championships, and now both of your daughters playing at LSU. Cam, of course, playing beach volleyball. Set us up with this match tonight. And I know a ton of mutual respect with these programs. We're so honored to have this match on VSN. I just can't wait for it.
Yeah, absolutely. it's always a battle. I feel like every year we go back and forth. You know, we beat them, they beat us, they beat us. We beat, you know, we go back and forth every year. We know we have to show up. They are obviously a super tough team to play. You know, their defense is tough. They're scrappy all the time. They have hitters. So, you know, our blockers have to be smart and strong and tough, and our defense has to be there. And, you know, when we serve well, we can take teams out of their offense. So hopefully we can do some of that too.
Outstanding. My last comment, I don't know if it's even a question. You know, we used to do all these docuseries, right? When we followed Mount Carmel for a season, the Pursuit, you know, we followed Barb baseball a couple of years. You know, I'm thinking about, it's been a while since we did a documentary or a 30 for 30 type deal. Should we do one on the coaching tree from Chalmette?
Right.
How many coaches from Chalmette? April Hagedon, Julie Abietta, keep going. Lonnie.
I mean, there are so many.
Dana Lonnie, right?
Dana Lonnie is another one.
Before she was a Lonnie.
Yeah. It's very, I am very proud to be a part of that group. Super, super proud. Kelly Plesha is a legend, and I am proud to say that I was coached by her and am her friend. So
that's awesome.
It's great.
Somebody needs to do that. It's out there. There's somebody needs to do that, and you never know. We might just pick it up. But listen, thanks for being on the program, but more importantly, thanks for being a part of VSN. Having your matches on our streaming service and our network is we're extremely honored to have Hannan Volleyball and Hannan Football and Hannan Baseball on VSN. So thanks from all of us to you guys.
Well, thanks for having us, and thanks for your patience.
You got it. Glad it's worth the wait. Trust me. All right, Coach, thanks so much. It's time for us to take a break here on Digging It with Derek Richey. When we return, we're going to turn our attention to college volleyball. Tulane, big matchup with Temple. We'll have the highlights and post-game reaction for you after this timeout on Digging It with Derek Richey.
For all of your insurance needs, call Allstate agent Greg Bravada. Auto, home, life, and retirement, Greg has a plan that's right for you. Allstate agent Greg Bravada, a proud supporter of the area volleyball scene. The Sports Pub and Grill in Destrehan has it all. A great place to watch the game, daily drink specials, and you won't believe the food. From our fresh 10-ounce burgers, fully loaded baked potatoes, and great salads too, like taco salad and grilled chicken. Need something to rinse it down with? How about one of our refreshing daiquiris? A great atmosphere for the whole family. Just a few miles west of the airport. The Sports Pub and Grill, 3001 Ormond Boulevard in Destrehan. Range Fit's premium electrolyte blend elevates the standard in hydration, delivering both incredible taste and powerful effectiveness. Zero sugar or artificial sweeteners. It's the perfect balance of performance and flavor. Go to rangefit.com, use code DIGGINIT15 at checkout for 15% off.
Welcome back to Digging It with Derek Richey. Want to send a shout out to a friend of the show talking about H. Worth Elevator Service, serving both Louisiana and Mississippi, also servicing elevators and escalators. We appreciate their support of our volleyball segment. Also, college volleyball is where we shift our attention to, and for that, we head to Tulane. The Green Wave was hosting Temple this weekend, and a couple of different things to think about for Tulane this Sunday. They were trying to get their first American Conference win of the season, but also trying to snap a 4-match losing streak to Temple. How would they do? Well, let's check out some of the highlights.
We pick up action early first set. Temple out in front 5-0, but junior outside hitter Avery Burks puts an end to that run with the kill down the line. Tulane pulls even in the set when the Wave executed the slide, and Fatima Sam tips over the block and down the line, and it's 10-10. Later in the set, it's Lauren Mack powering it through the Temple block, and Tulane leads 21-18. Tied at 23-23, and off the back set, Ava Durbis finds the far side corner with the hammer, and Tulane would take set 1 25-23. Second set, Tulane trailing 12-11, and again finding Burks, and she delivers again. Tulane up 19-16, and they take advantage of the Owls' overpass, and Durbus hammers it straight down as Tulane pulls away and wins the second 25-19. In the third, Zoe Raychow helps Tulane open up a lead with back-to-back aces, and the Green Waves suddenly are in command, up 10-5. Later in the third, Tulane attacks through the middle, and it's Sabrina Skyers with the Thunder, and it's 22-18. Tied at 23, it's Burks again ripping it down the line. She led the way with 16 kills as Tulane wins in 3, now 1-1 in conference play.
Today, the biggest thing was just consistency. Like you said, we started off slow in every set. So in the third set, when the same thing was happening, I wasn't too concerned. But I was really proud that it's not like we fell back, on our heels or we were worried about it. We were able to just keep pushing and keep showing up. And even when we were down 5 or 6 points, we were able to come back. So it was great to see that.
We just really focused on being aggressive and really focused on listening to our scout, listening to the game plan, and just going in with some aggression.
And it just felt a lot better. I feel like our energy was so much better, and we really bounced back. I'm just so proud of everyone.
2 on the road this week for Tulane. For more on the Green Wave, let's check back in with Paul Boron, who has more on this team on the rise under head coach Jordana Price.
Eric, after dropping their conference opener on Friday, the Green Wave were looking for a bounce-back victory, and boy, did they get it in a big way. The 3-set win over Temple, just another indicator of the upward trend of this Tulane volleyball program.
When I first got here, we had to really work on building the culture, the discipline, and just getting players in here that knew how to win at a high level. And so I feel like we've done that, and this season I think is really a turning point for us.
When I first got here, we had a lot of missing pieces in terms of, energy, consistency. As the years have gone on, we've just been slowly adding those pieces. And it's really all a mindset.
It's so exciting. I mean, coming in, I was Jordana's first recruiting class coming in, and it was there wasn't really a culture yet. So over the 4 years, we were really able to build that culture, build what we wanted this team to be, and I feel like it's just moving upward.
Tulane's ascent hit a little bit of a speed bump a year ago. After a good start to conference play, they lost their final 5 matches of the year and just missed postseason play. That finish and modest expectations from the outside have the Wave playing with even more purpose in 2025.
We're not in the tournament by 1 point, I think it was. So I think just having that chip on our shoulder and then going into this year, we were ranked 8th in the conference. So I think using that as a chip and to show that we're better than people think we are.
It was not the way we wanted to finish the season, and we should have been in the conference tournament, but I do think that it showed us where we're heading, and it's just the small details.
One of the Wave's calling cards is their defense, with a good net presence backed up by relentless hustle that has the Wave among the top 10 nationally in digs per set.
We work really hard in the back row to not let a ball touch the ground. So I think for us, it's just staying gritty and be able to cut their momentum short is really good for us in staying in those long rallies.
It's really just about discipline blocking, and if the front row does their job, it makes the back row's job easier and vice versa. So it's really good. It also just builds trust on our team, so it's just nice to know that we have each other's back on defense.
One area Coach Price wants to see growth as the American season continues, Tulane terminating points.
Sometimes you just gotta take a rip at it, and it works. So I think just our aggression, I think just going at it, swinging away.
We're trying to get to 15 kills. That's our goal every set. Can we get to 15? We're doing a great job of digging a lot of balls, blocking a lot of balls, but we still need to terminate at a high level.
If the Green Wave can accomplish that goal of 15 kills per set, they might very well accomplish another goal, playing in the American Conference Volleyball Tournament. In Uptown New Orleans, I'm Paul Boron for VSN.
RangeFit's premium electrolyte blend elevates the standard in hydration, delivering both incredible taste and powerful effectiveness. Zero sugar or artificial sweeteners. It's the perfect balance of performance and flavor. Go to rangefit.com, use code DIGGIN15 at checkout for 15% off. For all of your insurance needs, call Allstate agent Greg Bravada. Auto, home, life, and retirement, Greg has a plan that's right for you. Allstate agent Greg Bravada, a proud supporter of the area volleyball scene.
What I love about this place and most proud of this place is this community. Take a look around, this place is fantastic. Everything we do here is with passion. What separates White Sands from other places is the vibe. The community, the people, everyone here is family. See you on the sand at White Sands Secret Sandbar.
Local, family-owned H. Worth Elevator Service is the name you should choose when it comes to your commercial or residential elevator needs. We offer elevator installation, repair, and maintenance services. Choose professional elevator contractors in Kenner, licensed and insured. 24/7 emergency services available, warranties available. Backed by over 4 generations of elevator mechanics. Call H. Worth Elevator Service for your elevator needs.
Okay, it's time now for the show's beach volleyball segment. Of course, each week brought to you by Seeger Sandbar at White Sands Volleyball Complex. This week, we go to Hattiesburg and bring in our good friend, Southern Miss head coach, Shawn Taylor. Coach Shawn, you're a friend of the show. You might be one of the top guest appearances. But listen, welcome to the program. I know you're knee-deep in fall beach volleyball. How's everything going over there, man? How are those Golden Eagles looking this fall?
Man, it's we were chatting a little bit off air before we came on, but it's been exciting. I thought we finished this spring, and I told that group of young women, like, I really enjoyed coaching. I mean, I love coaching, otherwise you wouldn't do it, but I thought last spring was pretty special, and we had a great group. And sometimes when you change 1 or 2 people, and we graduated 5 kids, that's a pretty big change in group dynamic. We brought in several young players. We've been able to not just continue that momentum, but launch off of what we were doing in the spring. And we've got a bunch of young women that are working their tails off, showing up every day, being really open to feedback. And it's been a lot of fun. And so we're excited to kind of get out and compete a little bit and see kind of where things are at. Just a little like test, if you will. And then keep grinding through this fall to make sure we're setting ourselves up to have a better spring.
Coach Taylor, on this very show a couple years ago, you were the one that schooled me that the NCAA was kind of throwing beach volleyball a bone for such short season in the spring by kind of elongating a little bit of the fall, making a little bit more juice. Tell us what it has in store for you this year. What are your preseason tournaments looking like? And I know this is a big week for you, from going from the 8 hours that you can practice to 20 this week, right?
Yeah. So we shift into basically like we're in season. I think it's a good question, Eric, because we're trying to figure that out, and we discussed with our team a couple weeks ago, the overall reaching goal is going to be the spring. What does that mean for the fall? Because competition is good. We encourage it. We love to go compete. But sometimes you can be so competition heavy that you're not developing those laying those foundation, the foundational skills. And so I think we're trying, and I think every program, as you talk and you kind of look around the country, is trying to figure out what that means for them. Is it playing 2 events? Is it playing events that are 3 days? Is it playing 4 events? And so we're committed to playing 4 different events. They're going to be to varying lengths. Some of them 2 days, some of them probably 3-day variety. And I think we'll finish at UNO playing a 1-day event. On top of that, the AVCA Pairs Championship and our coaches organization has done a great job of supporting beach volleyball, but that's becoming a bigger deal, and we haven't had a team qualify for Huntsville yet, and it'd be great to send a pair there. And so how can we maintain or keep the focus on getting better through the fall, but also give our players the opportunity to go compete and represent ourselves or represent our university at the Pairs Championship. And so, like I said, we're kind of maneuvering through it. We're trying some different things. It means we'll split our crew, and some might travel one weekend and some will be here training, and vice versa. But we're trying to figure it out and see what's going to ultimately lead us to success.
Well, you've had a lot of it in your days at Southern Miss going into your 6th year, 14 wins last season. And I know that you've always scheduled very hard. You know, when I look up and down at some of the opponents last year, like number 6 Florida State, you go out to California, take on number 2 Loyola Marymount, number 8 Long Beach State. I mean, it goes on. You played Texas last year, LSU you played. Give us your philosophy on scheduling hard and then going on road trips where you might be able to spread that Southern Miss Golden Eagle love to areas of the country maybe not familiar with your program, but when you go to a tournament, maybe you kind of catch the eye of some recruits and also get your team battle tested for conference tournament action.
Yeah, all those things come into play. I think for me, with us not having a true regular conference season, then the focus becomes what gets us best prepared for the conference tournament. And my feeling is if you want to be good, you got to go play good. If you want to be great, you got to go play great competition. And so, the wins and losses, like those go on my record. I don't think it negatively impacts the girls too much. So we want to challenge ourselves and we want to play a challenging schedule that's going to prepare us for the end of the season. And I tell recruits, and we laugh and joke, like, listen, we can play grandma and grandpa and we can rack up a bunch of wins.
Right.
But I don't think that's going to help us get where we need to be. And so pushing ourselves and getting outside of our comfort zone every time we have the chance to go compete, I think is huge for us. And so we relish that. And I think along those lines, just having some diversity in our schedule, because we have some great teams. As you said, Florida State, LSU, I hate to name, like Tulane's down the road, they're a great program. UAB has been a great program. So, we can stay in this region, but you're going to see some of the same styles. You're going to see the same team over, and you get that familiarity. And I want to go play the LMUs of the world because Coach Mayer has been tearing it up and doing some great things. Yep. And they do things a little bit differently. And so it gives us the opportunity to see those teams. Long Beach State had a special pair last year that was running some quick and doing some different stuff that was really hard to defend. And it wasn't just us that had fits with it, but every number 1 pair in the nation last year had an issue with it. So it allows us to see some different things and try to figure out what are they doing and how can we implement that in our game, in our style of play.
Well, it has paid dividends. There's no question, because you can see the battle-tested kind of coming out in your players in that Sun Belt Conference tournament each year. Like last year in the elimination round, then boom, back-to-back wins. It always seems like Southern Miss is getting hot in that tournament. I know you didn't wind up where you wanted to, right? You bow out during the quarters, but it's paying off. I guess my question is here, what does the conference look like this year? Even though, like you said, you don't play a regular conference schedule, but who are the teams to beat? And let's talk about some of your top players as well that are coming back that you want to shine the spotlight on. Yeah,
I think I'll run back to that conference tournament real quick. And it was an interesting thing. And I thought, we came out pretty tense, or a little tense, a little tight. And UNC Wilmington was loose, a little bit more experienced, a lot of grad student seniors. And they came out and, took care of us in that opening round. But our girls bounced back and we got a rhythm. We played Mercer, and I was talking to my buddy, and he said, we need to do some digging. We dropped the first set across the board in all 5 pairs. But as a coach, I wasn't panicked at all.
Right.
And I kind of looked around, and I was actually like, we're actually in a great spot. And I actually felt good, which is when you're down 1 set on all 5 courts, I don't think there's a whole lot of coaches that are looking at you and honestly saying, I feel good. But just how our girls were competing, how loose we were right in every set. We came back and won that duel. He said, I don't think anybody's ever been down on 0-1 across the board and came back and won. So, I think that's a credit to our young women. And I think it is part of that. We've been in those situations. We've been tested. And so, we found ourselves in that situation of the conference tournament. were able to push through. And then I really thought we were playing great volleyball against UNC Wilmington, and we jumped out on top pretty much at every spot. And then you could just see about the third side change, our tank was empty. And the girls kept fighting. They kept working hard, but you could tell like we were just out of gas. It was our third match of the day, only a little over an hour rest in between those three. So, and again, credit to UNC Wilmington. They came out, they played.
Yep.
And they ended up, losing to Georgia State in the conference championship. But thought we had the opportunity to beat them. We ran out of gas a little too soon. But going back to your question, Eric, I think, until someone knocks off Georgia State, the road to the NCAA championship goes through them. And there's some other teams, UNC Wilmington, that have been perennial, like solid, good programs. Coastal Carolina. But you go 1 through 7 now, and there isn't a lot of drop off. We had a conference meeting about a week ago, and in our mid-season conference tournament, 43% of our matches were 3-2.
Wow.
And so, you look at our conference championship, the majority of those are 3-2. And so, you
just like your
quarters,
just like your quarterfinals, 3-2 last year to UNC Wilmington.
Yeah. Yep. And so like you can look through and say like, this is the clear favorite. I think until someone beats Georgia State, they're the clear favorite. But there's a lot of good programs, and that's the exciting thing I think about Sunbelt beach volleyball. You have to bring it every time you step out there, every time you play an opponent from the Sunbelt.
Coach, we got time for 2 more questions. The first one, I want you to just give us some of your top players this year. Who's going to be, the leaders on this team that beach volleyball fans should know?
Yeah, well, Zuzana, she's a JUCO transfer. She played at the Ones last year. She's a pretty electric, pretty dynamic player that hits a heavy ball with an incredible work ethic. And all of our girls do. Like I said, it's been fun coaching this group. But Z is one that we anticipate being somewhere in the top of our lineup. Just a matter of who we partner her with and how things shape up on some other fronts. Laurel Dennis is kind of a local kid from down in Gulfport. She's been playing with Sadie Makeda, who plays indoor. So right now we don't see Sadie. And then in January, she's been rolling over and getting her feet sandy. But those two have anchored down the 2 spot since their freshman year, and they'll be heading into their junior campaign. And so I think those 3 kind of are definite standouts. But I'm telling you, kind of like our conference, there isn't a whole lot of drop-off in practice right now, and that's an exciting thing. And so we certainly have some returners that can play. We have some young players that are continuing to get better. And so, I think we're excited about what it's going to look like this spring. Probably, if I'm being honest, a little nervous as a coach because you only get to play 12, and then when you get to the conference, you only get to play 10. Right. And we're probably going to have way more that are deserving of the opportunity to compete. But I think that also helps keep that friendly competition. And then I think with those players that I mentioned, Ryan Thomas is a Tulsa transfer from Kentucky originally, but went to Tulsa and played indoor, had a coaching change there, and found her way to Southern Miss and the beach game.
Good.
And not only her game developing because she was an undersized utility player indoor, and so knew it was a matter of time before she figured out the beach side, but her emerging as a leader has been huge and really helping us in terms of getting these new players up to speed, encouraging them and supporting them.
Love it. Love it. Final question, and I know you beach volleyball coaches in the fall have to keep things light, keep things interesting, building team camaraderie. How about Dodgeball Friday? Give us a little bit of the background on that, because that looks like some fun stuff.
I challenged our strength coach a little bit, and I see you popping it up here. But we've been talking about, like, we want to work hard, but we'll work harder when it's fun. And it doesn't mean it's fun all the time. It doesn't mean everything we do. But he's been challenging him, and even how do we incorporate some competition? How do we incorporate just some thinking, some problem solving. So when we're in the matches and we have to, come up with some different solutions, do we have that skill set where we problem solve? And so he's been doing a good job of just throwing some different challenges, whether it's running and picking up a cone, what order we do it. And I think last Friday was kind of one of those, like, we've been pushing hard, good opportunity to have some fun and, exercising, throwing some balls around, but more importantly, like, just kind of building that as you said, that team camaraderie. And then the girls, give them credit, because one of our players that was off recorded all this, and then they went back and edited it. I don't know if you're hiring, Eric, but they went through and edited all this, and they said, awesome. Can you get this on social media? I was like, absolutely.
Yes. And now we got it on the Diggin' It podcast. Hey, Coach, we got to run. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Look forward to seeing you. We said when you come over here in the fall and play at UNO, we'll be out there getting some highlights, interviews, and good to talk to you, man. Best of luck this season. Just have fun this fall.
I know Seeger Sandbar is your sponsor, and I love Corey. They do a phenomenal job. We're at Coconut this weekend, so
did not know that.
Yeah, we're at Coconut this weekend, so
I will be in Jacksonville this weekend. Emma's first inter squad scrimmage is this weekend, so Dad needs to be there.
That's probably one. Yeah, that's probably a good one to make.
I'll make the first one for sure. But listen,
there you go.
Good luck this weekend at Coconut Beach, and absolutely, I might have somebody get out there and get some highlights though for us.
All right, sounds good.
Take care. Thanks again. That's Shawn Taylor, 6th-year head coach of the Southern Miss Beach Volleyball program. It's time for us to take a break. When we return, it's our Young MCs, milestones and commitments, and we'll look at the Power 25. We're back on Diggin' It with Eric Richey after this.
What I love about this place and most proud of this place is this community. Take a look around, this place is fantastic. Everything we do here is with passion. What separates White Sands from other places is the vibe. The community, the people, everyone here is family. See you on the sand at White Sands Seeger Sandbar.
Local, family-owned H. Worth Elevator Service is the name you should choose when it comes to your commercial or residential elevator needs. We offer elevator installation, repair, and maintenance services. Choose professional elevator contractors in Kenner, licensed and insured. 24/7 emergency services available, warranties available. Backed by over 4 generations of elevator mechanics. Call H. Worth Elevator Service for your elevator needs. Welcome back, and it's time for this week's Young MCs. That's right, milestones and commitments. For milestones, we head to Dominican and senior setter Molly Baker, recognized for career assist number 1,000. Molly, of course, the younger sister of 2-time Louisiana Gatorade Player of the Year, Kate Baker. And guess what? There's another Baker coming up the pike, and guess what position she plays? Yep, setter. Congratulations, Molly, and ditto for Hannan senior libero Avery Lewis, who committed this past week to the College of Idaho. Just an excellent player. We welcome Avery and Hannan Nation to the VSN family.
So we go from the Young MCs to this week's Power 25, and man, is it intense. Of course, it's the VSN Go Preps Power 25, presented by K. Miller Gem and Jewelry Brokerage, but we start on the bottom half, and we start with SSA moving up 2 spots after that big win against Fontainebleau. They're at 11. Dunham up a spot into the 12 position. John Curtis falls 1 into 13 after losing to Pope John Paul last week. Newman's up a spot into 14th. Westminster Christian Academy, we saw them right here on VSN just annihilate Catholic High New Iberia last week. They move up 2 spots into 15. North Shore, the biggest mover. Again, we figured it would be North Shore and Chappelle. And as promised, after 3 Power 25 wins at the Red Hot Sticker Classic, Danny Davis's squad now 16th, moving up 7 spots. Moving up 8 spots is Chappelle. After their 7 in 1 week, they check in at 17. Fontainebleau's down 2 into the 18th position. Dutchtown down 1 into 19. Central Catholic staying status quo at 20. Parkview Baptist, a rough week at the Red Hot Sticker Classic. They moved down just one because all the quality opponents they fell to. St. Joseph, I should say, the host school, snapped a 7-match losing streak. So you know they were going to slide, but they come back. As we heard from Coach Donna Pixley earlier in the show, they got some momentum, and they are checking in at 22. 23, North Lake Christian up 1. And then into the poll for the first time, there's CE Bird at 24. They are number 3 in the state's Division I power points. And then we have our only tie this week, Southside, also entering the poll this week, tied for 25th with Turley's Catholic. All right, let's check in now with the top 10. And it was our closest voting we've had in the 3-year history of the poll up at the top. You're not going to believe some of the numbers, but let's go 10 through 1, where Edie White fell 5 spots after 3 losses last week. Number 9 is Country Day. 8, also as the same as last week, Slidell. U-High is up 3 with a 7-0 record, 18-0 overall. They play number 3 St. Michael on Thursday. We'll be there to get highlights of that one. Haynes is up 1 into the 6th spot. Hannan, as we heard from Coach Rebekka Bonnaffee just a little while ago, they're staying firm at number 5. St. Thomas More, you knew number 1 was going to go down, just how far they would go. They went down 3 spots into the 4 position after those 2 losses this week. St. Michael is at number 3 this week, despite not losing, but the panelists across the state clearly gave a lot of weight to Mount Carmel and Dominican 7-0 week. They both had big wins against Power 25s, and Dominican is the number 1 team this week. They are 11 Power 25s this season. So does Mount Carmel. Dominican, though, number 1. They're the only team in the state so far to beat St. Michael. Again, we thank Kay Miller Gem and Jewelry Brokerage for sponsoring this week's Power 25. And man, it was intense this week. So that'll put a wraps for another edition of Digging It with Eric Richey. So glad you were with us. We thank Shawn Taylor of Southern Miss and Rebekka Bonnaffee of Hannan for being on the show this week. Thanks to our director, Justin Thomas, our graphics artist for this week's show, Emma Richey over there in Jacksonville, hooking us up with those young MC graphics. Thanks so much for watching. We leave you with details on this week on VSN's coverage, beginning with Covenant Christian Academy, the Lady Lion Classic, the 3rd year. We're headed down with Coach Craig Hamner to broadcast 2 days worth of volleyball on Court 3 from the home of Terrebonne Civic Center. We're going to have teams like Slidell, Haynes, North Lake Christian, Parkview Baptist, North Shore. I mean, the list goes on. LCA, of course, Covenant Christian, the host school, but there are so many teams that we are excited to see this weekend down at Homa. So we'll have 2 days, Friday and Saturday worth of coverage. And also, as we said, Super Tuesday, 4 unbelievable matches highlighting some of the top teams in the state of Louisiana. That will do it for another edition of Digging It with Eric Richey. So long, everyone, and thanks for watching.
Digging It with Eric Richey is brought to you by